Hello children, let's start our today topic from hydrated and anhydrated substances. Topic number 3.9. Hydrated means clear from its name, it will contain water of crystallization. So let's talk about its definition. Hydrated substances, crystals of some salts contain water of crystallization. This water gives the crystals their shape, means their shape will be due to this water, and they will have their particular color. Some salts will have their color. So this is known as, these salts, they are known as hydrated salts. Let's talk about water of crystallization. In some solids, while crystals are made up, then they have definite quantity of water. This is known as water of crystallization or water of hydration. Its proper definition is written over there. Fixed amount of water that is associated with some compounds, which is an integral part of their crystalline structure. This is known as water of crystallization. So here in this table on page 43, some water of crystallization examples are given. Salts having their common name, chemical name as well as their formula. All these you have to learn. Then one experiment is given to show hydrated copper sulfate crystal, means blue vitriol, contain water of crystallization. In procedure, we will take some powdered copper sulfate in this clean dry test tube and we will clamp it in a tilted position so that the condensed water does not trickle or flow back. Gently heat these crystals. Then in observation, drops of colorless liquid condense on the cooler parts of the test tube and it will leave behind a residue that is anhydrous, means without water, and amorphous, means non-crystalline, that is with no definite shape or structure. Now see here, when these blue crystals, they are heated, then they change into anhydrous white color salt powder and a few drop of water. And again on cooling it will change into hydrated blue colored salt. Then anhydrous substance is anhydrous if it contain no water. Anhydrous means absence of water. The term anhydrous is most often applied to crystalline substances when the water of crystallization is removed. Means if water of crystallization is there, then they are hydrous or hydrating. If that is removed, then they are anhydrous. There are some methods by which we can get anhydrous salts. Direct heating, heating in dry and hot air, heating under vacuum, and by using dehydrating or desiccating agents such as warm concentrated sulfuric acid. These points you have to learn. And it is not necessary that crystallization shapes should be only due to water of crystallization. In fact, there are a number of crystalline solids that crystallize from water without holding any water of crystallization. Means without water of crystallization, they can also achieve their shapes. So there are some crystalline substances which do not contain any water of crystallization. Common salt, nitrous, sugar, potassium permanganate, ammonium chloride. You have to learn their name as well as these chemical formulae. Then in properties, first of all, efflorescence. Whenever any compound loses its water of crystallization on exposure to dry air, then this is known as efflorescence. Substances showing efflorescence are called efflorescent substances. You have to learn these examples also. First of all, washing soda. This is hydrated sodium carbonate. 10 molecules of water are there. While we will keep this into dry air, then hydrated sodium carbonate will change into monohydrate. Means only one molecule of water will be attached with it and 9 will be separated. Next example is of Glauber salt, means sodium sulfate. Decahydrate means 10 molecules of water. So sodium sulfate decahydrate in the presence of dry air will change into sodium sulfate and these molecules will be separated. Next example is of Epsom salt. In the presence of magnesium sulfate, heptahydrate, 7 means hepta. While you will keep it in the dry air, then it will become monohydrate, and 6 molecules of water, they will be separated. Then note is given, higher the temperature of the air, higher the fluorescence, because air absorb more water with rising temperature and decreasing moisture. Next is deliquescence. Some substances, when exposed to the atmosphere at ordinary temperature, then they will absorb moisture from the atmospheric air and they will become moist, lose their crystalline form, and ultimately dissolve into the absorbed water, whatever amount of water they will absorb from the atmosphere, and they will form a saturated solution. Such substances are called deliquescent substances, and this phenomenon that is known as deliquescency. Then examples are given: caustic soda, caustic potash, magnesium chloride, zinc chloride, all these you have to learn. Then note is given in this table. Table salt means sodium chloride will turn moist and ultimately forms a solution on exposure to it. This is because this salt contains impurities like magnesium chloride and calcium chloride. While it will expose to the air, then as it is deliquescent substance, it will absorb the moisture from the air. While we can remove this kind of impurity by passing a current of dry hydrogen chloride gas through a saturated solution of the affected salt. Then hygroscopy. Certain substances absorb moisture or water vapor from the atmosphere when they are exposed to it, but not enough to form solutions. Such substances are hygroscopic substances and phenomena that is known as hygroscopy. And examples are given: concentrated sulfuric acid, phosphorus pentoxide, quicklime, silica gel. You have to learn these examples. Then drying and dehydrating agents. First of all, drying agents. These are that substances which can readily absorb moisture from other substances without chemically reacting with them. Examples are anhydrous calcium chloride, anhydrous zinc chloride, phosphorus pentoxide. These substances are called desiccants or desiccating agents. Then dehydrating agents. These are the substances that can remove even the chemically combined water molecules from the compounds. For example, concentrated sulfuric acid is a dehydrating agent as it can remove chemically combined water molecules from blue vitriol, means copper sulfate pentahydrate. Penta stands for this 5. When copper sulfate pentahydrate, it will mix with the concentrated sulfuric acid, that is dehydrating agent. Then this bond will break down into copper sulfate, that its color will also change into white, and water molecules that will be separated. Dehydrating agents can remove hydrogen and oxygen in ratio 2:1 in the form of water. Example they have given of cane sugar. In the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, carbon and water molecules, they will be separated. Other examples are alumina and phosphorus pentoxide. Mostly gases are dried by passing gases through concentrated sulfuric acid because it has strong affinity for water, so it easily extracts water from many substances. We can also pass them from a drying tower, here it is given, as well as U-tube containing quicklime or anhydrous sodium sulfate. This is U-tube. Then lastly, we can pass them through this drying bulb containing anhydrous calcium chloride. One note is given about quicklime, which is being basic in nature and it is suitable for drying ammonia gas. That gas is also basic. Basic gas will not react with the base. So we oftenly use quicklime Then liquids are dried by keeping them overnight over anhydrous sodium sulfate or magnesium sulfate or calcium sulfate at room temperature. The solid then removed by filtration. And then solids are dried by spreading them on a watch glass or a dish or keeping it in a desiccator for some days. What is desiccator? Desiccator is an airtight glass vessel with a suitable drying agent, means anhydrous calcium chloride, placed at the bottom. It is used for drying the solids placed in it. Now the differences between drying agent and dehydrating agent. Drying agent can remove moisture from other substances, while dehydrating agent, they remove chemically combined elements of water in ratio 2:1. Then second point, they are used to dry the gases like chlorine, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen chloride. And they are also used in desiccators to keep substances dry. While on the other side, dehydrating agent, they prepare substances like carbon monoxide and sugar charcoal. These examples are given. And drying agent, they represent physical change, while dehydrating, they represent chemical change.